Most content creators are losing 80% of their audience in the first 8 seconds, and they have no idea why. It's not your editing, it's not your lighting, it's not even your topic, it's psychology. And once you understand it, you will never make a video in the same way again. Welcome back to Limitlessly Digital. My name is Claire, and today we're going to go deep on something that most creators have never thought about: the psychology of hooks. Not just what a hook is, I'm thinking you probably know that already, but why certain hooks work on a neurological level and how exactly to write them for your own content. By the end of this video, you'll have a repeatable formula you can apply to every single video you make. You ready? Let's get into it. Here's something that might sting a little bit. The average viewer decides whether to keep watching your video within the first 3 to 8 seconds of pressing play. Not 30 seconds, not a minute, 8 seconds. That's not very long. And YouTube knows this. Their algorithm tracks something called audience retention. That's the percentage of your video people actually watch. The higher your retention, the more the algorithm pushes your video. The lower it is, it buries it. If you look at your retention graphs of videos that underperform, almost all of them show the same pattern. A massive drop in the first 30 seconds, right there in that opening window. You're either earning their attention or you are losing it forever. Maybe not forever, maybe until the next video after you've watched this one. Now here's the thing that you might be getting wrong. You think the solution is to be more exciting, more cuts, more energy, more graphics, but that's not actually what our brains respond to. Our brains respond to psychology. Specifically, 5 psychological principles that trigger what neuroscientists call the orienting response, the automatic involuntary reaction our brain makes when it decides whether things are worth paying attention to. And in this video, I'm going to show you what those 5 principles are. The first principle is called the curiosity gap, and it's probably the most powerful psychological force in all of content marketing. In the 1990s, a behavioral economist at Carnegie Mellon University named George Loewenstein discovered something fascinating. Curiosity isn't just a feeling, it's a physical state of discomfort when we sense there's a gap between what we know and what we want to know. Our brain experiences, it's like an itch that needs to be scratched, and here's the key. We will keep watching, reading, or scrolling until that itch is satisfied. Think about the last time a video thumbnail or title made you think, wait, what? And you clicked before you even consciously decided to. That was a curiosity gap in action. For creators, the way you use this is simple. In your hook, you open a loop. You introduce a question or attention, but you don't close it. You withhold just enough information to make the viewer feel like they have to keep watching to get the answer. The hook I used at the start of this video does exactly that. It's not your editing, it's not your lighting, it's not your topic. By eliminating the obvious answers, I created a gap. If it's not those things, then what is it? And you have to keep watching to find out. The second principle is pattern interruption. Now you may have heard this term, but what exactly is it? Your brain is a prediction machine. Every waking moment it's quietly forecasting what's going to happen next based on past experiences. This is incredibly useful for survival, but it also means that anything your brain has seen before gets filtered out as irrelevant. This is why when you can walk the same route every day, drive the same route every day, and not remember a single detail, your brain has already flagged it as seen that already, nothing new here to see. Pattern interruption breaks that filter. When something violates your expectation, your brain snaps to attention. It's involuntary, like someone calling your name in a crowded room. For your hooks, this means starting in a way that's unexpected. Begin in the middle of a story. Open with a counterintuitive claim. Cut to something visually surprising in the first frame. Say something your audience absolutely did not expect from a video on this topic. The goal is to make your brain say, wait, that's not what I thought this was going to be. That moment of recalibration and attention is everything. Principle number 3, nearly did 6, is one built on a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik Effect. In the 1920s, a Soviet female psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something strange. Waiters in a restaurant could remember every detail of an order that they hadn't yet served, but the moment the food hit the table, they completely forgot the order. Her research confirmed it. Our brains hold unfinished tasks in active working memory. Incomplete things nag at us. Completed things get filed away and forgotten. For creators, the open loop is one of your most powerful retention tools, not just for hooks, but for the entire video. You tease something at the start that you won't return to until later. I'll tell you what happened at the end of this video. We'll come back to that in a second. There's one more important thing, and it's the most important. I'll get to it after I've shown you these 3 principles. You've heard them all before. Every open loop you create is a thread your viewer feels compelled to follow. Just don't open too many at once. 2 or 3 is usually the limit before it feels overwhelming for us, for your viewers. Principle 4 is emotional priming. And here's a hard truth about how us as humans, about our human psychology. We're not rational creatures who occasionally feel things. We are emotional creatures who occasionally think rationally. Research in neuroscience has consistently shown that emotion is processed faster than conscious thought. By the time your analytical brain has had a chance to evaluate something, your emotional brain has already made a decision. This is why the most watched content on the internet is almost always emotionally charged. Fear, awe, outrage, joy, nostalgia. These aren't just feelings, they're attention signals. When you trigger an emotion, the brain elevates its importance of whatever triggered it. For your hook, the goal is to prime an emotion in the first sentence. Lead with something that makes your viewer feel something before they have time to think. Frustration. You've been doing this wrong and no one told you. Curiosity. Fear of missing out. Relief. Excitement. You don't need to be dramatic about it. You just need to make them feel something, because once they feel it, they're invested in your video. And the 5th principle, and honestly one of the most underrated, is social proof and belonging. We as humans are tribal animals. For most of our evolutionary history, being accepted by the group meant survival. Being rejected meant danger. That wiring hasn't gone away, it just shows up in different ways. When we sense that others like us are watching something, engaging with something, or benefiting from something, our threat detection system relaxes. It signals, this is safe, this is for me, this is my kind of thing. In a hook, you can activate this by referencing a shared identity, a shared experience, or a shared struggle. If you're a content creator who's ever posted something you were proud of and heard crickets, absolutely nothing, that sentence works because it names an experience that every creator has had. It says, I see you, this video was made for you. And when someone feels seen, they stay. Okay, so now you know the 5 principles, but knowing them and using them are 2 different things. So let me give you a framework you can actually use right now for your next video. I call it the 3 Ps. Pain, promise, preview. 3 parts. Every strong hook has all 3. Part 1, pain. The pain is the problem your viewer has. It's not a vague problem, it's specific, it's felt, it's something they've experienced and maybe felt embarrassed about. Example, most creators are losing 80% of their audience in the first 8 seconds. That is a pain point. It's specific, it's a little uncomfortable, and it's true for the vast majority of creators watching. Part 2 is the promise. This is what changes after they watch your video. It's not what you're going to talk about, what changes for them. Frame it as a transformation, not a topic. For example, once you understand hook psychology, you will never make a video the same way again. Notice I didn't say, in this video I'll explain hook psychology. I said, this knowledge will change how you work. That's a promise of transformation. That's what people stay for. And part 3, the third P, preview. The preview gives them a taste of what's coming, but without closing any of the loops we spoke about. It's the trailer, not the full movie. For example, I'm going to show you 5 psychological principles that the top creators use, including one that most people have never heard of. That preview adds an open loop. Which one haven't most people heard of? Now they have another reason to stay and watch the video. So let's put this into practice. Let's say someone's making a video about Instagram growth. A weak hook might look like this. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about how to grow your Instagram account. Okay, that's fine, but it's not a hook. That's a topic announcement. There's no pain, there's no promise, there's no preview, there's no psychological tension. Now let me apply the formula, pain. If you've been posting consistently on Instagram and your follower count is barely moving, this is why. The promise. Once you understand it, growing to your first 10,000 followers becomes a system, not a gamble. And then the preview. There are 3 algorithm triggers most creators don't know exist, and I'm going to walk you through them all. It's the same topic, it's a completely different psychological impact. That's the formula working. Which one would you have watched? One more practical tip. For every video you want to record, write at least 3 different hooks, then pick the one that your ideal client, your target viewer, would want to stay and watch. And if you have someone in your life who is your ideal client, ask them. Real life feedback beats any ideas that you may think are right. So at the start of this video, I told you that losing 80% of your audience in the first 8 seconds has nothing to do with your editing, your lighting, or your topic. And now you know what it actually is. I've closed that loop. It's the curiosity gap, or the lack of one. It's missing a pattern interrupt. It's failing to open a loop worth following. It's not priming any emotion. It's not making your viewer feel like this content was made for them. Psychology isn't a trick. It's understanding how human attention actually works. And when you work with it instead of against it, everything changes. Now, if you found this video useful, the next video I'd recommend is right here, somewhere. It covers the second half of the retention problem. How to keep people watching through the middle of your video, not just the first 30 seconds, because the hook gets them in, but what keeps them in, that's a different skill. Remember to like and subscribe. Do your part, leave a heart. I'll see you in the next one.